Kevin McCullough.
And we're back from Times Square. It's Kevin McCullough, and we're talking national defense, national security with the new administration. A whole different approach to just about everything that you can imagine is taking place. And Robert Wilkie, who served in the first Trump administration and is now the chair of the National Security Center for the America First Policy Institute, a very influential think tank when it comes to the America First agenda, is joining us. He is replacing General Keith Kellogg, who not only served in Trump 1 very admirably, and I might have to add he did so for President or for Vice President Pence, which was probably not the best straw to draw if you were in Trump 1, but he did it, and then he still advised President Trump on many sensitive things, and it's great to see that he's going to be serving this administration in an advisor capacity as well. Very happy about that. But Robert Wilkie, you know this stuff as well as he did. What else besides what we covered in the last segment are you thinking we will see the biggest impact of? Putting troops on our southern border via executive action is something that has been kicked around for a long time. This president's doing it. Why does it matter?
Well, we have been the victim of an invasion the likes of which we can't catalog, we can't itemize.
And this stands up judicially if like some weirdo like AOC takes it to the court and says, hey, he doesn't have the power to, he's declaring an emergency on the southern border, hence the call to action for the troops that he's sending there.
It's fascinating. The guy who was once the darling of the progressive left, Woodrow Wilson, confronted the same thing on a smaller scale back in 1915 and 1916 when their version of the Mexican cartels at the beginning of the 20th century were raiding across the border, killing Americans, killing American soldiers. And the next thing the government of Mexico knew, John Pershing and 2 divisions of American troops and the new American Air Corps was flying above Mexico, in Mexico, to push them back. So it is something that's been done before on that border 100 years ago, 110 years ago. And President Trump was invoking the same powers that the Constitution.
And designating the cartels terrorist threats. Yes. Brilliant move. Why did he have to be the first one to come up with it?
It is shocking to me. And it's right out of a Tom Clancy novel where they're debating I think it was Clear and Present Danger, where the president is debating whether to declare these forces a clear and present danger to the safety of the United States. Donald Trump not only does that, will do that today or whenever that executive order is signed, but that will employ the full force of the United States, economic, military. It will force the hand of the new government in Mexico City. What a lot of people in the press and the left don't understand is that Trump is, for want of a better term, a great poker player. Instead of cards, he will throw out an idea that staggers the listener. For instance, Greenland. That is the kind of thing that destabilizes the bad guys. And I would say that about the government of Mexico. They have gone along with this. They've allowed the 1/3 of their country to be taken over by these militarized drug gangs that are controlling entire swaths of Mexico.
Right.
And they pose a danger to the United States. Let me put that in perspective. Every year, the fentanyl that comes across that border unchecked kills twice as many people as died in 10 years of combat in Vietnam.
Wow.
It is the greatest loss of life that we have experienced since the Second World War. But it's happening on a yearly basis. Over 110,000 Americans each year die from Mexican transshipped fentanyl. And the president is going to do everything he can to stop that. And he is sending a clear message to the Mexicans, even when he says he's going to rename on our maps the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
That is to send a signal to Mexico City that it's no longer business as usual.
Well, and he's also going to unleash local law enforcement to take care of businesses they need to in the urban inner cities of our country, which is the kind of the other half of the equation. Getting it across the border is one thing, getting it into the hands of the gangs in the neighborhoods in the inner cities is another. And I really hesitate that these governors who have claimed, oh, we're not going to work with him at all. Look at how many Democrats were sitting on his team behind him at that ceremony. I think there's going to be, at least initially, more cooperation than what we've been signified. Robert Wilkie, we appreciate your insight and your kind of observations of what's going on. We'll be checking in with you in the days to come from the National Center for Security at AFPI.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.